Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to the latest episode of the newly renamed Toonami Absolution Sessions. Previously talking Toonami. I'm your host, Sketch, and joining me again, we have Christopher Soul.
Yeah, what's up?
And John Paul Mendinso.
Hey, ya.
And we have not one, not two, but three new guests. First, we have the Man in Black, aka DuelistG on YouTube.
How's it going?
We also have PyrOMG from NeoToonami.
Yeah, PyrOMG. Works.
And we have Doctor from the Ass Backwards Anime Podcast.
Hi there. Nice to be here. This is interesting. The tables has turned, Sketch.
Well, you know, I didn't even invite you. I don't know what you're doing here.
I don't know what am I doing here.
It's my fault. It's all my fault.
I am willing to talk about Toonami.
There we go. There we go. We're all willing to talk about Toonami.
I'm not.
A lot of... Well, then
How did you get here?
Get out!
Burn him!
Oh, boy.
Burn the witch!
This is going to be a long recording. Okay. Today we are here to discuss the current Toonami, and if perhaps the current Toonami is pushing the edge a little far, maybe even artificially maturing the block to the point that it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, just to get it right out there, it didn't have to be Toonami's back bitches. I found that amusing. I'm sure lots of people did. But the point of this discussion is the Toonami on Adult Swim trying too hard to be edgy? And what does that have to do with the programming and the way it's presenting itself to the populace? To start us off, let's hear Pyro's thoughts, because he was the one who came up with this topic.
Okay, well, first off, I'm going to say right off the bat, I love Toonami, so do not read anything into what I'm saying as, oh, he hates Toonami, God, burn him alive. Anyway, no, I just want to see it be the best thing that it can be, and I feel like it is pushing that envelope a little bit, like when it doesn't have to. There's a natural flow to what Toonami always was. And even with this more mature angle, it still can be there. The whole Toonami faithful now almost becomes Toonami bitches approach is kind of weird. And it threw me off when I first heard it, and I thought, okay, you know, maybe it's just them happy and it'll go away. And then in the first week, we saw the first promo for it, which was a lineup promo where it's Tom saying, Toonami's back, bitches. And it still lingered. And then I saw the next promo they did, which was actually one they could show on separate blocks and onward. And I'm like, okay, the trend's gone, good. It's moving on. And now I see, in comparison between the most recent To Hell with Fear compared to Don't Fear Failure, they're still like, I think what they're doing with the packaging is swearing just for the sake of swearing so they can make it seem like it's mature, when really how you present yourself can define you more than how you try and sound cool, you know? Tom never had to try and sound cool, as far as I remember. I never saw one point where it was pushing the envelope. It's kind of like, if any of you have seen Soul Eater, the characters in that push the envelope pretty far. Like, you've got Black Star, who always is showing off how he's a big kid. Yeah, I'm big, man. I can... And then you've got Soul himself, who's always saying, I'm a cool guy, I'm cool. And that's how it kind of comes off to me. It's like, be what you are. You don't have to say what you are. That's my take.
Okay. Well, what would you like to add to that, Duelist?
Well, you know, I mean, I don't really think they're going too far. I think, the whole, bitches thing, I don't know that they're going to be, using that in every other promo or something. I think it was just kind of a fun thing for them to start things off with. I mean, Jason and Sean, I think they always kind of wanted Toonami to be a more mature skewing block because, they wanted Cowboy Bebop on it for quite a few years, and they were never able to do that. So, I mean, as far as for the original intent being fulfilled, I mean, we might have gotten there. I mean, the first broadcast, I watched it, and I really enjoyed what, Dead Man Wonderland was doing with the pushing of what they were showing. I'm not going to lie. I've been enjoying the up maturity factor that we seem to have for the most part, so in my opinion, it's not a problem.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Doctor?
I think it's interesting. I mean, listening to Pyro, he kind of does bring up some good points. It is this the bitches line. I mean, coming from a guy. I mean, not saying. I don't know if they were necessarily cursing for the sake of cursing. As a person who curses a lot, I know how to at least more or less control it. And honestly, I even here, I'm doing my best not to. I think it's that. I think it is they're trying to have that kind of that little tood attached to this thing. I mean, if you're looking at what they're showing when it comes to programming, Dead Man Wonderland is that weird line pusher from just. I mean, for it to be following something like a Bleach, it's heavily action. It's not necessarily anything severely graphic. And if you really think about it, you could even consider Concerned Sins, with all of its robot gore, could be considered interesting. I don't know. I want to say that they realize that the people who are going to be caring about this are the people who watched it back then. And they at least know that those people have grown up. And based on the commercials, probably are having sex. I don't know. I've saw a lot of condom commercials during the first run. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Brought to you by Trojanami.
There definitely was.
So obviously they're trying to at least market to some sort of demographic. But then again, there are plenty of 11, 13-year-olds already having sex anyway.
But we're not encouraging that.
No. Wait till you're older and are married, and values.
Wait till you're out of the basement.
What about us, gay guys? What about us?
Go right ahead.
You can do it while you're in the basement. That's fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
I find it. The funniest thing is you being in a basement right now, Pyro. I just feel the need to point that out.
I know. That was the joke.
Nobody look at the person behind the veil there. I want to say that I think they're trying to get that crowd back up again. That I think they're mainly trying to target the older people, the people who were there in the beginning. I don't know if they're necessarily just trying to get new people in it, or maybe they are. I don't know what their strategy is necessarily.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Soul?
Well, I guess to kind of just go on, I guess, forward with it, I think the biggest thing is, I think even Duelist had commented on it, maybe that's what Sean and Jason wanted to do originally, probably even with that original move to 2004 is, to skew the block a little bit older. Now I think with this new, the new Adult Swim Toonami, I think it's the biggest thing is even just thinking about what Jason DeMarco would probably say. I think it's because we can do this. We can do whatever we want with it. Tops, though, I mean, in terms of just Tom cursing or this or that, I don't see the big problem with it. And then again, I'm a guy who curses half the time anyway. I don't want to watch myself, but Tops, the most I can really say about it is some people might be bothered by it. Some people might be off-put by it because, Tom never swore when I was watching it growing up, that type of thing. I'm like, oh, in terms of just people complaining about it, I don't know. And Pyro, I don't think you're complaining about it, but I get where you're coming from with it. I think if anything, the most I could really think about, like especially with Tom specifically, and just the overt block about it, it might just be a statement showing that this isn't Toonami on Cartoon Network. This is Toonami on Adult Swim. So I mean, I don't have a whole lot of comments on just Tom swearing and the presentation of the block because even with a week or two ago with the Diablo 3 review, it's the devil needs an ass whooping or whatever. So, like I said, I think just because they're on Adult Swim, they can go a little bit further with punching up Tom's dialogue. In terms of him sounding cool, it's whatever. But I think it's mainly because they are skewing the block a little bit older, and they can do whatever they want with it. And that's really all I have to say about it.
Okay. And what are your thoughts, John?
Honestly, I really don't feel like they are everyone's pretty much covered mostly what I'm gonna say, but I don't think they're pushing it too far. I mean, like with Tom's dialogue, I don't see any harm with having him swear or if kind of pushing the envelope with it a little bit. I mean, this goes even as far as the shows that they're showing. I honestly don't feel like there's anything wrong with showing like Dead Man Wonderland. I do have the question though, why is it really necessary to have bleeps rather than redubbing? But that's another subject. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean,
John, were you saying something about redubbing bleep? Because that's what it sounded like.
No, bleeps.
Bleeps.
Oh, okay.
Redubbing instead of using bleeps.
Yeah.
That's a cost thing, I'm sure.
How many episodes end up Bleach and now redub it? Damn.
Oh man, do it.
Bleach Kai.
Well, they need to somehow make their money. I mean, to get their new audience.
Fund it.
Anyhow, but I mean, as everyone else has said, they're going for an older audience. I mean, it's an Adult Swim. I mean, you can't expect them to market the same like they did when they were on Cartoon Network. They have to target towards their target demographic, which is mostly 18 and older. They're dealing with people that grew up with it. They're older. I mean, I'm assuming they want to attract new viewers as well, and they want to kind of make this somewhat edgy. I don't see the harm in it, and I don't think they're pushing it too far. So, my thoughts were kind of jumbled there, but that's about all I have to say.
Okay, well then I will chime in. In my opinion, I think they're straddling the line a bit. They're not pushing it too far yet. It's kind of unnecessary at points. Punching up Tom's dialogue is fine. I don't think that ruins anybody's childhood. I think it makes everyone's childhood that much better. And as far as the shows go, this is a Toonami for adults. They put up the disclaimer at every hour, which kind of blows my mind seeing that disclaimer because I, like most people, am used to Toonami targeting children.
I mean, we did get a couple disclaimers on Toonami in the past, but nothing.
For Naruto episodes and such. And so, as long as we keep in mind that this Toonami is in fact for adult audiences, I don't see any harm in what they're doing per se. They could certainly push it too far and get to the point that it's just pointless. Get to the point that it's just ridiculous how they present themselves. But if you look at the rest of Adult Swim and what they have done with anime thus far, I feel like Toonami is getting closer to what Adult Swim is all about in other aspects. Because quite frankly, Adult Swim action in recent years. Well, let's just put all the cards on the table. They played Kakaishi. That should have gone to Disney XD or Nicktoons, honestly.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
It was better that they played it uncut, but and I don't want to endlessly bash Kakaishi, but really, they're not really pushing adult content. They're usually playing what technically qualifies as kids shows. And I think it's better that they dumped a bunch of those, but they kept Ghost in the Shell and Cowboy Bebop, which have much more adult appeal.
I mean, the only two shows that are airing on there that are, that are targeted to kids at this point are Bleach and Fullmetal Alchemist. So.
Technically Dead Man Wonderland, right?
Oh, yeah, that too. But I think the anime might have skewed it older. I don't know.
Cashern's kind of an odd bag.
It's a weird one.
Can I chime in here right quick,
Yeah.
son? I just want to say, because a lot of people touched on this, and I don't want people getting the wrong idea. I wasn't referring to the shows. The lineup as a whole, I think it's good. Some things aren't my taste, but that's going to be everybody's case. I was referring more to the packaging and the stuff with Tom. However, then again, I'm not going to lie. I could be wrong. I mean, it could be just the hint of nostalgia in my brain going, well, this is how I remember it, and it feels kind of off. And I guess there's that adjustment period, in a way, to get used to it.
That's completely fair.
I think it's like Toonami was that friend you had in high school, and then you went to college separately, and then you needed to get transferred over, so they had to go to another college, and you end up finding him in the meanwhile in like your second year, and a good year has passed. Well, a good couple of years now that I think about it have passed, and he's kind of different, and he's not exactly the same way you might have thought him. I don't know.
That happened to me from elementary to school to middle school, and the person I met was a stoner, and he used to be my best friend.
So,
oh my God, Tom is that stoner. What have I
Tom
done?
was a stoner.
We're not going to go back to
sense.
like that 420 idea, because I don't think they're actually going to do that.
No, that was Fire Crouch just making that joke. He said it to us a couple times.
And I'll add in real quick, I guess, to kind of close it off on that topic. I mean, like in terms of the packaging topic, even on the April 1st airing, I mean, there was the Tenchi Muyo DVD spot with he's got 99 problems, but these bitches are the main one. I mean, and everybody was freaking out when they first heard that, but as it's progressed and as the month or so has passed by, and now we have Toonami back on Adult Swim, and it's been good 3-4 weeks now, I think we've kind of settled in that this is Toonami on Adult Swim.
I mean, that kind of threw me off. Like, I didn't quite hear it from my TV, but like when someone pointed it out to me, like it kind of threw me off to hear Tom say, the word bitches at first.
Who knew he listened to Jay-Z?
Come on, man! They snuck that one into IGPX.
Oh, you punk ass bitch!
I think that's kind of what it is, too. There's kind of two camps about it, because there are the people that are acceptant that, okay, this is Toonami on Adult Swim, and then there are the people that think that Adult Swim has sunk into the Toonami, so it's more like they call it, some of them have been calling it Adult Swim Nami. It's kind of two sides to it.
Adult
Some
Swim
think
Nami,
that it shouldn't be. Some think that it shouldn't be like this at all, like the Adult Swim portion just sinks its teeth in, and some think, okay, well, this is the way it is. This is Toonami. It's on Adult Swim. It should be more mature.
Yeah,
So-
but I guess if you really think about it, I mean, look at the original. I mean, the Midnight Run way back in the day. I mean, they showed Gundam Wing Uncut. I mean, that was aiming a little bit towards an older demographic when that aired, uncut at night. And then, of course, Adult Swim action as a whole was kind of stemmed off from the Midnight Run. So I think Sketch has probably said it before. I mean, things have finally come full circle.
It's like coming home, baby. With the packaging, I don't think they pushed it too far yet. They could, and I might be on the other side of that argument if they do. Because part of me is still like, well, Toonami is supposed to be a block that anybody can watch, right? Well, no, not this Toonami. This Toonami's intended for adults. You could maybe skew it as low as teenagers, but Adult Swim doesn't care about teenage ratings. In fact, if there's more teens than adults watching, that's a bad thing. In a perfect world, we would be able to have a Toonami that is all ages appropriate. Good shows air uncut. They don't necessarily push into the TVMAs in order to keep it safe for younger viewers. But, sorry, we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world of television where it's dominated by target demographics and advertising. And the advertisers want adults watching Toonami. They want young adults, and they don't really want teenagers, much less kids. And plenty of kids still watch Adult Swim, and still can, but that's not what they want. They're just trying to give the adult audience what they want, I'm thinking. For a long time, Adult Swim action hasn't necessarily done that, and there have been plenty of complaints about that on various places on the internet. And while I can kind of back that argument from people saying that they're not edgy enough, or they weren't edgy enough for a time, I do appreciate that Adult Swim doesn't go hog wild on, mature content just for the heck of it. They usually play anime that has some kind of value to it beyond flashy fan service and lots of violence. But there's room for those kinds of shows too, and we'll get into that later. I'd like to see a balance, because adult viewers can enjoy all kinds of programming. I'm pretty sure most of us enjoy quite a few kids shows. So, a broader spectrum would be nice.
Not gonna lie, in my day I did watch a Blue's Clues every once in a while.
I think we all did.
Well, then you must like that Toonami joke video for next April Fools, right?
That thing was amazing.
Oh God, that video.
Oh, we'll have to link that.
Tom is getting so upset. Tom is getting so upset.
Yeah.
They made him show Troll 2. What do you expect? That is the greatest video I've seen in a while.
Coming up later. No, actually, we're playing it. Toonami fans are very creative. Toonami fandom is so great. Toonami fans are awesome. I think it's a valid complaint that Toonami is pushing the envelope too far with the way it's presenting itself. But it's on Adult Swim now. And I think as long as they don't go too hog wild with it, it's okay. It doesn't feel like it's not Toonami because Tom said a few naughty words. If anything, it feels like this is Toonami no holds bar, and Tom can finally be himself. Though there is a danger to that, because we all know that Ren and Stimpy was better when it was ambiguous.
Or rather, restricted, would be the right word.
Right.
My question is, though, what is the line? Like, where is there a line? Is there a line?
That is a good question.
Like, let's say, and some people may go, oh, please, this would never happen, or whatever, but let's say the future goes on, we get Sarah back in it. That would be awesome. Mm-hmm. But now you've got a female-interpreted character, and is there going to be some Tom going, Sarah, you're hot today, or you know what I mean? Just what is the line?
Oh, that is...
Well, he has... I remember that Beach Biker review. It's not like he hasn't... he hasn't been innuendo using in the past, but I mean, I don't think they'd be quite that ridiculous.
Him slapping her ass? Nah.
I don't think so.
How do you do that to a hologram anyway?
That, or Sarah's revamp has big tits or something. I don't know.
No. Kim Manning will never let that happen.
Wait, what?
I don't think he's going to be like, hey, bitch, put on the next Bebop episode.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously there is a line. And the biggest line in and of itself is, I don't think we're not going to get too over-sexualized because we're not going to get shows like High School of the Dead or such and such that has, a decent amount of action but also has fan service in it. We've had that slightly in the past on Adult Swim with, like, say, Code Geass. I mean, that, to a certain degree, I mean, it kind of had, quite a bit of fan service in it, but it didn't go overboard with that. When something like High School of the Dead is just kind of in your face with it.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
And Kim Manning has gone on record saying she wanted to play Elfen Lied, but Standard said, you can't play this without hacking it to ribbons. So she didn't play it because she saw no point in playing it if you can't play it.
I do find it interesting that that's one of the ones she personally wanted, when I feel like I've heard she's turned down a lot of titles that might have been tamer than that.
Well, with Elfen Lied, there really is only some really strong nudity, like at the like during the first episode, and then most of the stuff is generally not as bad.
Yeah, but it's super duper violent. I imagine
you could still kind of censor it though, in terms of like blurring it or even black barring stuff if you really wanted to, and still air it.
Maybe.
I mean, that's kind of what the Japanese airing did.
Granted,
with certain shots.
When they were looking at Elfen Lied, that was several years ago, and they've loosened up a lot since then.
And there's a lot more stuff than Elfen Lied now.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem to be a point in playing Elfen Lied now.
I'll be honest, I don't know, like, even if they were to air it today, I don't know how they'd feel about the child molestation.
Oh, that's
subplot.
Probably the biggest thing.
That's not a good thing. The incestual relationship that's kind of happening as well. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to air it yet.
There's a lot of hot buttons in Elfen Lied.
Yeah.
What about...
If any...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if anything, that right there, what you just said kind of defines where the line really is. Because if that's got so many hot buttons in it, and they wanted to run it, but they couldn't, that tells you what other things like would be in the area. Like, do you think Desert Punk would be in that area? Do you think Hellsing would be in that area? Air Gear? Some of which I've seen personally and are cool shows, which I feel like Air Gear especially had a certain tone behind it that I felt fit Toonami, but it was too more mature for it. A lot of Toonami shows always had a certain feel to it that kind of promoted a growth in a person. Like, example, I thought Dead Man Wonderland wasn't going to be that with the first day I watched, and then I watched the second episode, and by the end of the second episode, I thought to myself, holy crap, this does give me that feel. Like, there is a certain level of character growth in this series, and you can relate to that.
I agree. Lots of Toonami shows had character growth and were kind of coming-of-age stories. I think the bummer with Air Gear, and I know if it was a more accurate to the manga series, it would definitely not be possible. But if they could have just toned it down a little bit, they could have made it on primetime Toonami, much less this Toonami. But the nudity and a few other things that didn't really have to be
great
there.
Factor.
There is that.
I mean, there were extra crows in the TV airing originally.
Yeah, but
honestly,
that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Would have been funny to see that though. That like all crows scenes, which are just
could have brought back the bathing suits.
Something that I've been thinking of throughout the course of this conversation is, what, like how they aired that Tenchi episode on April 1st, and they had like the blurring of whoever was topless or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
I
had
feel
to
like
do with. Sorry.
I'm just saying, I feel like back in the day, Toonami anime fans, if they could have shown even just parts of that Outlaw Star episode that they skipped, but just, blurred out anything that they couldn't show, I think
they
people
couldn't have
probably
blurred
would
out
have preferred
stuff
that.
on a daytime run. Blurring out is something you could kind of get away with late at night, but...
Well, they could have just cut out that scene. They could have just cut out...
No, I don't think they could have cut out that scene because, it doesn't make sense why they're watching this video and the counter is counting down, so it's like...
they could have done some clever rewrites, maybe, but...
Those tits were a
could've
vital
pulled,
point of the storyline, guys.
No,
Can I just say-
that's not what I was saying. I was just saying that scene is kind of hard to get around. That's
It
all.
was simply easier to
Might
just
agree with
skip
me
it.
on this sketch.
Huh?
I feel like if they had done a rewrite, I don't know if you recall when Yu Yu Hakusho got moved over to Toonami, that episode where Yusuke winning that match based around finding Genkai's cigarette, in the dark. They were managed to re-edit together that to sort of make sense. I feel like something along that lines probably would have been at least an attempt, because everyone was just like, where the hell did this caster
I have one question that's kind of bugged me. Why is it that Adult Swim can get away with showing nudity if it doesn't have any nipples?
Who knows, man? I don't work
never-
at standards.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this, this whole subject, and
Yeah.
I remember Evangelion got away with
I
that.
think only Evangelion has gotten away with that.
Because I don't think they've aired anything that had nippleless nudity.
I think they were probably just hoping nobody would notice.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but I don't think a lot of people were watching
No,
on
not a
Adult
lot of
Swim,
people were
sadly.
watching it. That's why anytime somebody's like, they should bring back Evangelion, that show's great. Yeah, it didn't do great, though. And it would do even worse now, so, no. Maybe the movies, though.
Yeah, maybe the rebuild movies, and, that's top.
At least you're dealing with
The
Funimation,
thing is,
then.
Adult Swim's always been very iffy about showing movies, because I think they get worse ratings overall, usually.
Yeah, sometimes. There have been a few movies that did okay.
I mean, the Bebop movie probably got decent ratings.
The first time, at least. I don't honestly remember at this point, and I'm
Maybe
not going to
those-
look it up.
Maybe
Well,
those
they-
Inuyasha movies, but...
Yeah, with those Inuyasha movies, they aired those quite a few times, though.
At least one of the Inuyasha
Oh!
movies did pretty well.
Oh, actually, Inuyasha also had nippleless nudity. That's right.
Oh, did it?
I just remembered. Yeah.
So I will say, if you're talking about the scene I'm thinking of, that definitely got edited down in
No, only the first,
broadcasts.
only during the scenes that was showed originally, and then when they showed the centipede woman again, they actually showed her breasts and whatnot. It was edited because they weren't sure just how far they could get away with on that channel before. So.
Yeah, to remember how censored Adult Swim used to be, they couldn't even play Cowboy Bebop uncut.
They removed a gay guy. I'm upset.
Wasn't there one point where talking about things that potentially should have been edited if they got by was really frowned upon online because if somebody came across it? I remember one Lupin episode where I think he went to a nudist colony or something.
There was...
And I think people...
Oh, there was that.
I think people were talking about it days or weeks in advance, and then it just was really butchered when they actually got around to showing.
And they never
it.
did play that episode
was-
with Hitler, did they? The guy who...
No,
they didn't.
Not Hitler,
Genion
but,
even skipped that from the DVD release.
The Nazi guy.
Yeah, Genion even skipped. Yeah,
I mean,
Genion.
I find it kind of funny because they played that episode with the Hitler-esque guy, and
Oh, they did?
I honestly think,
Huh.
yeah,
Wow.
but that wasn't to be or not to be or whatever. It was a different one.
Not to be to not to. or something like.
These are not Chibi.
From what I understand, I think that was like Genion's fault completely because they didn't even release that episode on DVD in order up until a later volume. So,
man, you see how far we've come, man. People really shouldn't complain about not getting enough anime. At least we get it properly now.
Oh, I just remembered something else. Fujiko shooting at the screen while she was completely naked. I don't know why
Nice.
I thought of that.
Ah, Miss Lupin third.
As far as that, I've heard people saying they want the new Lupin in the block. But everything I've heard, that would probably be towing the line, if not going all the way over it.
They would not be able to play the opening at all, though. Not at all.
She's nude in so many scenes of that show.
Well, remember, they edit down the openings anyway. So, I mean, with the whole new Lupin on Toonami, I mean, the only thing I keep thinking is just, and it just kind of boggles my mind that they can't just freaking censor the nudity. Just blur it out or black bar it. Otherwise, that show is perfect for Toonami or Adult Swim in general outside of the nudity.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it would most likely do very well with casual audiences. And speaking of that, another show that might do very well with casual audiences that might simply be too much for even the new Toonami would be Panty and Stocking with Garter Belts.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean maybe as in being too much.
It is a good series. I would be interested to see how they show it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, if they don't have a different dub that uses other dialogue, then half of that show's dialogue is going to be bleeped based on what Dead Man Wonderland has proven so far.
Oh God, I was watching the Scanty and
E-Socks.
E-Socks?
Yeah, the transformation clip, and there was a lot of swearing that got bleeped in that clip.
Wow. Yeah, that one might be a little too much, but I feel like if they have the balls to do it, that would be interesting. I'd like to see how that would do with their audience.
Well, the thing is, I feel like the point of that show is to just throw out every curse word possible. So just having it bleeped for obviously that has to be on television, kind of defeats the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say I definitely remember an episode where they say F word 20 times in a row, and I'm really wondering how that, did we just get 20 seconds of censors, or I don't even know.
Yeah, that was in Japanese.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Censoring it would be like penalizing, whatever, a show that's built to push the envelope for pushing the envelope, basically.
That's true.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that.
Maybe there's just no point. So that brings us to the question of, are there shows that are just, there's no point in playing them if you can't play them uncensored? There's probably a lot, actually.
Let me ask you this. Do you think if they ever nix the rerun of the block and expand into 3 to 6, do you think they could technically play more risque stuff at 3 a.m. or?
No, I don't think they're gonna buy anything that they can only play at 3 a.m.
I mean, yeah, there's that, but and that makes the whole conversation.
Yeah.
But
my general impression of Adult Swim is violence is way more okay than swearing or sexuality.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So, they might even be able to pull off something as violent as Hellsing Ultimate.
Yeah. Because, you're at an episode like Metalocalypse or something.
Oh, yeah, Metalocalypse is crazy violent, and so is Super Jail.
I feel like they should be able to air anime that is just that ridiculous. Like, I don't see what the...
Give me some
what's
Bakano.
the difference?
Bakano,
I've heard good things
Lagoon,
about...
Desert Punk.
Black Lagoon's another one of those probably too much swearing to deal with shows.
Well, I mean, there are times where I feel like they could make that work, since it is a fairly... It's the point of it. It's a Hollywood action show, so...
Mhm.
I would love to see Black Lagoon, honestly, because that show is pretty damn awesome.
Absolutely. It would be great to see that.
I mean, if they want to keep up this, Dead Man Wonderland type feel that the block has, that would be a show to maybe put in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could. I'm running in my head through all the things I know that could work now. There are a couple of things people have been asking for of fan projects and stuff, even when it comes to Toonami Aftermath and all them, just to see happen that never happened, and now it has the potential of happening on Toonami itself. Code Geass being among that list, because it was more violent than could ever be run, but now it fits right in there. Another thing I'm looking for, which I don't know if it really qualifies, because as far as I know, it's still action cartoons only, and I don't really classify Death Note as an action cartoon.
No.
But
Nah, I mean, it's qualified as a talking cartoon. Although you can probably you can probably even lump in Ghost in the Shell in the same boat, but
Yeah, but Ghost in the
That has
Shell
actually-
has some action.
yeah, that's the thing.
Death Note.
For
Well,
what's worth,
he swishes his finger across the Death Note. I mean, that's action, isn't it?
Going back to...
and the way he ate that potato chip, oh my gosh.
I know, man. That's some violent potato chip eating. The most violent I've ever seen. He murdered that potato chip.
And the guy that he was murdering.
Yeah. At the same time,
Chip
that's a
had
double
worms.
murder. That's a double homicide there. Possibly a triple. Twice, actually. Oh, that was a loud cough. Okay. What was I thinking? I've completely lost my train of thought, so I'm just going to ramble here for a second until I get back to it. Oh, right. People suggesting Death Note and Code Geass apparently didn't notice that both of those shows bombed on Adult Swim, and they would not do any better now. People are silly. Like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, tops in terms of in terms of just shows that people want on Toonami that have had previous television runs that need to be on the block that people really want. Yeah, it's either Gurren Lagann or Gundam 00.
I think Gurren Lagann, since it's so widely available, is a dangerous choice, but I'd love to see it. But Gundam 00 is still kind of underexposed, so I'd really like them to play that and Gundam Unicorn when it finishes.
Yeah. Like Gundam in general is underexposed over
Oh, yeah.
here.
Well, now it is.
I think for the Gundam train to come back around, they're gonna have to get one of the ones that's we at least as an audience, any fan of Gundam's probably already seen, but would love to see again. Just because, as far as I know, there's no more dubbing of Gundam series in America right now. Series
for now.
Except
So-
Unicorn, but
Except Unicorn.
that needs to be fired back up before we'll get any more dubbed Gundam series. So
Blame Bandai.
I do blame
I
Bandai. I blame
did
Bandai
mean
for
to
a
say
lot of
this.
things.
Yeah, I meant to say this about a minute ago, but I feel like for whatever reason they're probably not going to bring back any old Adult Swim action shows like Death Note or anything that they've already run and lost the rights to.
Maybe Trigun. Maybe Champloo.
Well, actually, yeah, that's like one of the only ones I can think of that they aired that they might bring back.
No,
Cool.
I feel like Champloo needs to be like besides Trigun, Champloo needs to be back on the block. I've heard people tell me that like because it was around the time, Geneon shut down or whatever's around the time they lost the rights. I don't know, but that I still am really kind of surprised they lost the rights to that in general, because they still have Fooly Cooley, and in general, Champloo is, the spiritual successor to Bebop, so I'm still really surprised that they lost the rights to Champloo.
Honestly, I like it better.
Yeah, it's alright.
I still need to see all of it, actually. I don't think I had cable when it was running on TV.
Well, it's on Hulu. Pretty sure.
And on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, definitely get it on Blu-ray if you have a Blu-ray player. It's pretty. It's a pretty show.
Yeah.
Pretty good show.
I got a few shows I need to catch on, like both Full Metal Alchemists, unfortunately. I'm only partway into either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I guess kind of to summarize around kind of what we're talking about in terms of shows that could air. You're still going to end up delving back into stuff that hasn't been exposed on television and that's probably a little bit older. In terms of newer stuff that's continuing to, that's still being churned out in Japan or this or that, it's just kind of iffy because there hasn't, been really big mainstream hits that would work on TV in America. The biggest one people continue to push for is Tiger and Bunny. Super violent, no, but it's perfect for the block.
Right. The only concern with Tiger and Bunny is apparently some fan service. Some. Not a lot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but remember, I had mentioned it a little bit earlier, it might have been around the time I got cut off, but even Code Geass, like I said, had a bit of fan service. So
there was a rumor that they didn't go for Gun Sword because of Fossilina's pole dancing.
Ha! That was
kind of a reasonable thing to not pick it up for. It was probably that, and when they went to the City of Women.
And also, there was that sex scene that happened.
Oh yeah, that
too.
Wait.
Happened to the Kikider too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sneak things in sometimes. Technically, sex happened in Gundam Seed. So.
Oh yeah. But this one's more on screen.
There's ways to get around that, though. You take that subtle scene that happens in the beginning where they pan along the door and just pause on the door, have the sound effect, but not the visual.
I don't think that there should be a problem with them
that was even in,
indicating that there has been sex. This block is for adults. As long as they don't show anything explicit, it should be fine. Sex is a normal thing.
Pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure we all attended that class.
Yes. Yeah, even Tops and what Trigun, everybody assumed, Wolfwood and Millie.
Oh, they banged.
Oh, they totally banged.
Yeah.
They totally banged.
She bangs. She bangs. Oh, baby, she moves. She moves.
Which was sad. Which, ironically, that was the episode they showed on April 1st. Yeah.
Yes.
Why do you remind me of sadness?
Oh, sad.
Because the manga's different.
I would love to see them do an actual new Trigun series following the rest of the manga.
Oh, Toonami should play that movie.
But that's, Yeah, that might be... doesn't Funimation have that?
Yeah, they got the movie.
It's like a long episode.
Thousands of years later.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Does anyone know if it's the same Duelist as the TV show? I'm assuming it probably is.
Chibi.
Yeah.
They even replaced Wolfwood. But the whole cast does a good job, so.
Yeah.
We'll live. It's not quite the nostalgia-gasm that it could have been, but we'll live. Did you have something to say, Pyro? Please tell me you have something to say.
I was gonna say that I was exactly thinking that same thing. I was about to say it about that movie, and in general, I guess that'd be another topic altogether. But he brought up something I've been thinking about, which is has anybody else noticed a lot of old series getting reboots now that the mangas are farther along, and a lot of those new reboots could do well on Toonami?
A new reboot, you say?
No, not a new. Well, that could too. But I mean, like, example. Hunter x Hunter had its new in 2011.
Yes, by all means, play that.
Redoing.
Yes. Dub it and play it.
The first time I ever saw this kind of thing happen was when Full Metal Alchemist became Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and there's a bunch of other ones on the rise that are getting it as well. Names escape me right now, but a lot of series are getting a rebuild since mangas are farther along. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Hunter x Hunter, it's kind of, at least with the new anime, I mean, that show's on at like 9 in the morning, Saturday or Sunday morning. It's kind of like One Piece is in Japan, where I know this new anime is still kind of edited, and later on down the line, I don't know what they're going to do, because, that
gets funny.
That shit gets, like, seinen violent.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
There are a lot of heads and faces being cut off and or eaten.
Fun stuff.
And it's all about a kid's dream to become a hunter.
It's all about a kid's dream to punch his dad in the face for abandoning him, leaving him with his aunt.
I saw the first when I first started seeing that series, I was thinking, wow, this is okay. This is more of a kid friend. This is probably something like a Beat 'em on or whatever would be, basically that kind of journey thing. And then I got to the point where it was him versus the ninja, and he gets his arm broken and his eardrum popped, and I'm like,
oh,
wow.
That's not even that bad of what happens later on.
Trust me, some of the stuff later on is really... Oh, there's even a scene like earlier than that, the flesh being ripped off that cop's like arm, and then the part that killer rips.
Yay, violence!
Yeah, I mean, that's with the new series though, it's kind of toned down from the manga and even the original series, from what I understand. But it's still a great show. I never really ever watched the original Hunter x Hunter, so I'm enjoying watching the new one. So
it was this one is surprisingly less toned down than the original series.
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'd love to see that on there. I've mentioned Toriko before, but I know a lot of people feel like it should be on like Nicktoons or something. So
and then there's One Piece, which is plenty violent and plenty sexual enough to classify, but is still so childish at times.
I mean, to me, I feel like with One Piece, I mentioned it before. I mean, but I think that point where you're like, what are we gonna do with this show on a kids network? That's not until at least 400 or 500 episodes in anyway, so who knows?
I'm willing to accept all possibilities for One Piece returning to television. But hey, might as well play it uncut.
Yeah, I will say that they probably could play One Piece uncut on Adult Swim Toonami. I think Jeff Harris had somewhat of a legitimate point that it's, what is it, approaching 500 episodes or something, but that once a weeking it would be... I don't know if that would work, considering...
That's how I feel about Naruto Shippuden, or even DBZ airing once a week. The only thing with DBZ is like, okay, it's actually finished, and people will generally watch it, but still, something with that, that long, once a week... not the best idea.
Yeah, when there was a way to strip stuff on weekdays, a lot more things were...
Well, I mean, the issue is with at least One Piece is a level of commitment that you have to take with the show. That if
What's your level of commitment?
Level 5, 10 hours actually.
Gundam model joke.
Yeah.
God, I remember those commercials.
And the thing is, it is that level of commitment being with 500 plus episodes, and having to do it every once a week, and to be able to at least be able to get that material together, because I don't see as of now Funimation getting everything by the time, unless they start at episode 1, start airing that weekly. I don't even know if they'll be able to get all of that stuff ready with a dub and all that and the shebang.
The thing I see is that okay, with making any schedule work, they've got right now a long runner, which is Bleach still, and you probably can't get too many long runners just because of the fact that is, like you said, that's a commitment right there. That means if they start it, they have to intend to finish the series.
Yeah,
so
it's going to oversaturate the block adage. So
they need more of those earlier hours before they get another long shonen. And incidentally, it's about the only way that they could get those earlier hours is if they have another long shonen that will do well in them. They need another Bleach. Otherwise, expansion's not going to happen.
Yeah, and the only way like they'd have something like that that would generally pull in the ratings would the DBZ off the top of my head right now. That for sure that would probably get the ratings would be DBZ.
You know, so. I feel like they could bring back Hakusho.
Yeah,
I'm taking a long shot here, and I'm thinking, because I don't believe it ever got to finish, I'm thinking that if they did Rurouni Kenshin, it might be able to pull it off.
Rurouni Kenshin, please, Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, but a lot of people like, and I'm a fan of the filler episode just because I'm a fan of Kenshin in general. But they did finish the Kyoto arc, not on Toonami, but they did finish it on that CVES, that Saturday block. But yeah, Kenshin, Hakusho, those are like two of my favorite Toonami shows in general. I'd love to see him back on the block. So
it's a long runner they could probably get for cheap, and because of the fact that most of it has been seen already, if they used it for now, got it to a point where it got them to where they need to go, and if they had to take it off because they could now afford to get said new long runner, then people wouldn't be so pissed, and the few people who are pissed off could go actually buy the DVDs.
Who has that?
I actually want to point out one thing. I don't think Media Blasters has it anymore, and if it were to go on TV, it would probably be the Samurai X stuff. And
No.
That's kind of we want to be excited, not depressed.
I'm not sure who has the Kenshin TV series right now. So
I think that would default back to Aniplex.
Probably, but who knows what they'll do with it, and they'll charge an arm and a leg for it anyway.
We obviously need to see that UPN dub that never happened with the Mortal Kombat music.
That's Samurai X. Not to be confused with the ADV licensed OVAs.
Which are now owned by Aniplex anyway, so...
Yep.
I don't really want to plug this at all, but for fans of Kenshin, I feel like they might find it amusing to go on Crackle and watch that dub, because it is just so bad.
If you're a fan of Kenshin, just read the manga then.
Absolutely. Read the manga.
It's also, the one thing I will definitely have to say that's interesting was, the one thing that, that they kept from the old dub was, Kenshin's voice when Yipsters redubbed it. Which I kind of...
He was like the only good thing from the first dub.
Yeah, pretty much.
Richard Hayworth is a great voice actor, and luckily he still gets little bits and parts here and there anyway, so... but yeah, for just moving towards an older audience on Toonami, the only thing I can really think of is, outside of things here and there, such as, Tiger and Bunny or this or that, you'd have to kind of go back further into the past and pick up stuff that hasn't been aired on TV and might be out of print or might just be getting re-released.
Not necessarily. since they can push the level of violence in Dead Man Wonderland, they could play The Future Diary, which I hear is extremely violent.
It is
I've heard
pretty crazy.
very good things about that series.
Ask me anything about that series.
But later. So there's
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
idea. You know, there's stuff still coming out of Japan, even if the majority of what's coming out of Japan will not work on American television. There's at least a few shows a year, and they only need a few shows a year. So there you go.
You gotta
Yeah.
find that diamond in the rough, so to speak.
And they used to be really good at doing that. Adult Swim, not so much. But we can always hope. Well, I feel we have exhausted this topic about as far as we can, so we're going to wrap this thing up. I'd like to thank you all for listening to the Toonami Absolution sessions. I'd like to thank all of our guests for this episode. PyrOMG,
Thank you very much, sir.
the Man in Black,
Glad I could be here.
Doctor,
Hey, happy to be of service.
John,
Don't hate my voice.
nobody hates your voice, and Soul.
Always a pleasure.
And some of them will return next time.
It's gonna be scribbled all across.
Okay,
Oh, I figured it'd be. I figured it'd be drawn in blood.
we are now recording.
Okay, let's get on with it.
Okay,
Please.
as a reminder to everyone, the Man in Black is referred to as Duelist.
List.
Pyro is Pyro, Soul is Soul, John is John, Doctor is Doctor, and I am Flamingo. wait, I mean sketch.
Well,
Why do I,
I was
have
about to
to
change
be
your name
Mr. Pink?
I was
We
about
can
to change your name on my
code.
site.
I love you,
Flamingo
Flamingo.
crows at night.
I love you, Flamingo. I love
So
you.
first I'm going to reintroduce Soul and John, and then I will introduce the newcomers. Respond on your turn.
Wow, my brain is like dying right now.
Leaving me for last.
Hey, I'm giving you the benefit of, putting all your thoughts together before you talk.
Yeah, that's generally not a good idea. Okay, seriously,
Fine, next time you can go first.
put me in the middle ground.
Oh, fine, I'll put you third.
Well, if he gets to go third, I want to go second.
I'm kidding. Don't worry about it. Seriously. Okay. I'm gonna try. I get nervous on this, so I apologize.
And the dog is barking! Dallas!
Dallas.
Okay, so I'm going to do the closer now.
The closer
Mhm.
on TNT.
On TNT.
God.
Yeah,
We know drama.
we know drama. Characters want it, unless they are animated.
That's USA.
I know that's
damn
I
it.
know it's USA.
Yeah.
And that's what characters welcome.
Characters welcome. Right, okay. Pyro, on the VAA? You've been on the VAA, right? They have, I think, VAA, we know drama.
Oh, God.
Hey, boy, is that true. Boy, is that true. Okay.
Good thing I never went there.
Yeah, probably best to keep it that way. I don't know what it's like anymore, honestly. I haven't been there in a while. PyrOMG? How do you say that?
Alonzi.
Pi-
Just think of it like pyro,
Pi-
and then just say MG.
PyrOMG.
PyrOMG.
Okay. thank you for listening, and some of us will get... My brain is fried right now.
Oh, so get
Some of us will.
Next
episode.
Hold on a second.
get naked and run around the room screaming.
Okay, Sketch, you can do this. You can do this.
And some of us will return next time.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And that's a wrap, folks.